know, the first time when I started to try to date her, I never forget this one day. She'll still to this day deny it ever.
I don't think this is true.
It's hard to believe. So she had a 1.5-year-old, and she had called me up out of the blue, and she really wasn't speaking to me. And she goes, "Hey, would you like to come over?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'd love to come over." So I rushed there at about 100 miles an hour and got there, and I'm not kidding, this is what she said.
I don't think it's true.
She goes, "Could you do me a favor?" I'm like, "Anything for you, Angela." Look at that angelic face. And she goes, "Could you do me a favor and watch my son? I have a few errands to make."
I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true.
She doesn't remember what she had for lunch, all right? So here's the fact, guys. We met, we started dating, we started to work together, and we were broke. Guys, we were so broke that there was a point, I am not kidding, we were literally on our hands and knees going, "Lord, where do you got us? This stuff ain't working." My dad used to say to me all the time, "Look, go get a real job. This ain't working." And you know what? Quite honestly, we was discouraged. Did we have dreams? Absolutely. But it wasn't working. Why not? Why not? So in the midst of this failure, I said, "Look, maybe we got to make a move. Maybe we got to leave the company we're at. Maybe we just need to regroup the two of us and just pick up on what we know best." Look, we got two completely different backgrounds. This girl's got a double master's, I got a double nothing. The only thing I double is double down at the blackjack table. That's about it. But you know what? We work good together. So we left the company where we're at. And then I always say, it's by the grace of God, but it's instilling some stuff that we're going to tell you about today. We don't keep it a secret on what we do. But we went from being broke, guys, broke. I'm talking no money, in debt. And that next year, 2002, we left the company we're at, instilled what we thought would work. That next year, we sold in 2002, 12 million in real estate. 12 million. The following year, 17.5. The year after that, 22 million. The year after that, 40 million in real estate. We ran a team that sold over $80 million a year. It's more than most brokerages. Guys, yes, it's the grace of God, and it's pretty impressive. But there's reason behind it. And we're going to share that with you today. Because that power of dreaming, coupled with doing the right things, you as a human being is unstoppable.
So you're about to see some polar opposite stuff. He's really cool. He's actually cool. I'm not. So what made us different? Why did we succeed? Let's start with having the right mindset. That is a hot dog.
I'm hungry.
That's a hot dog. And I'm going to make an argument, a really nerdy argument, that so many real estate agents are kind of like hot dogs. So what's a hot dog? A hot dog can be made with beef or chicken or pork, but it's not really made from the greatest parts of beef, chicken, or pork. It's made with dregs. Dregs are, by definition, the least valuable part of anything. So it's like the worst part of the pork, the worst part of the chicken, the worst part of the beef, throw in a bunch of other disgusting ingredients, smush it together, put some red dye in it, and you've got something that's worth nothing nutritionally.
Are you guys ready to have some hot dogs for dinner?
Yeah. It's just nasty. And I will tell you that I believe that many real estate agents act like hot dogs. So what are the ingredients of a successful real estate agent? They have to prospect, which means you got to go out, look for people, meet them, find out if they're looking to buy or sell, and find out if they might work with you. Right? So we have to prospect, we have to follow up with them, so we get appointments. And from those appointments, we hope that we list homes, write contracts, close homes, and make money. Right? That's what we do. And if you just take prospecting, what are the kinds of ways you can go out there and meet people? You can meet people from open house, for sale by owners, expireds, door knocking, working your center of influence. And here's how most agents do it. I think I'll do a little bit of open house, a touch of door knocking, a dash of call my center of influence, and I wonder why they're not making any money. They're hot dogs. They take the dregs of prospecting, they put it all together, mash it up, and hope that they're going to make money from it. So I was teaching a class. It wasn't too long ago. It was like a year or so ago. I had 30 people in my class, and the class was about how to become this great listing agent. It was like a 12-week class series, and I asked them one day, I said, and I want you to answer this in your mind, I asked them all, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dedicated are you to becoming successful in real estate? Like, how dedicated? 28 of them said 10. I'm a 10, that's how dedicated I am. 2 of them said I'm a 9, right? And then I asked a follow-up question. Somebody, please tell me, I want to find out the most robust prospecting schedule last week. Like, out of all 30 people, who had the most robust prospecting schedule last week? Here's what it was. The best. 5 hours of open house, 2 hours of door knocking, a couple of hours on the phone, they think responding to leads. And you're a 10 dedicated? That's like dregs, right? That's terrible. So I want to make an analogy. Let's make a good analogy about this. You have to have intention and focus in your business. So in our neighborhood, we live in Ocotillo, we often see kids doing lemonade stands, right? And normally it's like on the Jacaranda Circle or whatever, they have a table out, they throw some lemonade out, and I, just for fun, Googled lemonade stand. So if a kid was like, great, and they want to say, I want to make the best lemonade stand, what's their knowledge base? There were 5,600,000 entries related to a lemonade stand. Now, I don't pretend to think that a kid's going to go pore over all of these entries in Google, but the information is available, right? But here's what we experience. They shout out to passerbys, come on, get my lemonade. But here's what's happening. There's people walking, riding their bikes, rollerblading, or speeding by at 35 miles an hour. I don't know, but when I'm in my own version of Tour de France, I do not have quarters in my bike pants. I just don't. So it's unlikely that they're going to get a lot of interest in their lemonade unless their neighbors come or their parents come or whatever, right? And here's my point. One day, this kid shouts out to us. We were literally driving by, and the kid shouts out, why don't you stop? And stomps like a little tantrum. Well, I'm going to tell you that that's how real estate agents are. They go and they say, I'm going to do an open house. And they get 3 signs, and they set them out, and they go in the house, and they sit on the couch, and they sit there for 2.5 hours. They were going to be there for 4. They sat there for 2.5 hours, nobody came in, and they stomp their feet and say, open houses don't work. That's a great analogy. Now, I'm going to be silly. Let's say this lemonade stand lady or kid had a mentor. The parent was like a business person, an entrepreneur, right? And said, here's what you got to do. You got to think about location. You got to think about the quality of your lemonade. Who's going to help you? What compelling message do you have? And let's pretend they set up a table at a park near a sporting event with lots of people and moms with purses. They have great lemonade and they put a big sign in front of their stand that says, help me buy a new bike. So are they going to do a little better? Yeah. Well, I Googled open house the other day. There were 349 million entries related to open house. We have resources on how to do a great open house. You can take classes, you can prepare, but in your mindset as an agent, you need to be intentional and focus in your business. And that's one of the things that we really changed from when we were failures to when things started to turn around for us. We started actually thinking about our business and having a lot of intention. That's a duck right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Double masters right here. Double masters.
That's how she used to teach her kids. That's a duck.
That is a duck. So here's the funny thing about ducks, and I love this analogy because we have to prospect and it's not easy, it's hard. You got to get rhinoceros skin. But a duck has this preen gland that spreads oil all over its outer feathers. So that's why all the water rolls off the feathers. You can throw as much water at a duck as you can, and it'll always roll off because of that preen gland.
Who needs to watch National Geographic when you have Angela?
Well, I love this analogy. You guys have to be like ducks in your mindset. Now, I'm not talking about like Chuck said. It sounds like you're saying quack, 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 quack. Not that part. The oil roll off, that whole thing. When a client loses their mind about something, and you've done your best, and they blame you, you gotta let that stuff roll off. Your mindset has to be strong, and that's one of the things we started to get very good at. Take things personally, fail. Don't, and be professional. That's a part of your success. Another really good part of that is when you prospect, do you get more yeses or do you get more no's? No's. It's the nature of the business, but I talk to agent after agent after agent who get discouraged like that. You can't let those no's soak in. You have to be like the duck, and you have to let it roll off. And we got so good at that mindset, the way that you approach your business, the way you think about it. You have to be strong in those areas. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. There's this guy that we had. We were sitting in an open house in Ahwatukee. It was a great break into the luxury market. We happened to get this listing that was like $725,000, and we sat it open. And when we say sat it open, it was like from the very beginning of the morning until it got dark. Wow. As often as we could. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a week.
You know, one of the things, guys, that we want to explain to you about being successful and meeting your dreams just don't come naturally. You got to put the work in. And I'm still amazed till this day. And if you ever sit through one of my classes, you know what I say. If you're sitting in open house and you're telling me you're sitting there from 10 to 2 or 12 to 4, where did you come up with that 4-hour concept? When we were broke, we were sitting open houses from 8 in the morning till 6, 7 at night, every weekend. That's what we were doing.
We were like, we just had the right way. When we decided that we were going to have intensity and focus, it was like, all right, this is what we do. This is what we do. And it changed everything. It changed everything. So we're sitting in this open house one day, and this guy walks in. We'll call him Mark, because that was his name. That was his name. And so,
let's call him by his name.
So he walks in. He spends like 20, 30 minutes in the house. And we kind of sucked, so we didn't really engage him well. He wasn't paying attention to us, but we could tell he was totally interested. And so he walked out the front door.
And nobody really taught us how to do real estate at the beginning of the first company. And he walks out the door. So what's the right thing for me to do? Yell at my wife for not getting the info.
Why'd you get the info? Why'd you get the info? Right?
So we're bickering back and forth. And then no sooner than maybe 2, 3 hours later, Mark shows back up with his wife and kids. And I'm walking through the house, and walking through, and they're there for another 30 minutes. Once again, now here goes the family walking out the front door. And neither one of us gets their information.
So we held hands and cried. No, we didn't.
You just cried. You go cry over there.
No.
So here's the part about something that I want you guys to understand. If you have a dream, how bad do you want to make it come to reality? And we were broke. And there's a potential buyer. And it hit us. We did nothing about it. We froze. And she looks at me and she goes, well, then do something about it. So I did. I ran down the driveway. And as they were pulling away, I jumped in front of his car and I stopped his car.
Honest to God, he did this.
Put my hands on the door of the car and I stopped his car. And they were just like in a state of panic. You got the kids in the back, they're crying. No. But I stopped the car and I said to him, why are you not buying this house? And he said to me, I can't afford this house. I said, how do you know? Let's try to make this work. Let's do something. You obviously came back here twice and you love the house. Here's the thing, guys. We sold them the house. We made it work. When you have a passion and you have a dream, nothing should stop you? Nothing. That's how you have to look at it. One of the biggest things I see out there, and the problem with the industry, and not just the real estate industry, with the world itself, is we don't embrace the process anymore. We don't embrace the process. Here, I'm going to give you some scenarios. How many of you guys love going out in 100 degrees and go door knock for hours to complete strangers? How many of you love that? How many of you love, I know Don, I know you do. How many of you love doing open houses on the weekend when your kids have events or your family's out having fun and picnicking and you're going to go do an open house? No, not for 4 hours, no, not for 5. Do it for 8 hours with the guarantee that nobody ever might not show up. How many of you love that idea? How about this scenario? Out of the blue, somebody calls you up to Chanel. They're looking to buy a $500,000 house. They're cash buyers. They're easy to work with. There's a lot on the market. All the houses that are in that price range are priced right. And here's the kicker. And every one of those agents is polite and nice and know what they're doing. And they answer the phone. Here's the thing.
Then you wake up. Is that what you said?
Then you wake up. But here's the problem. The process. We go, oh, we love that one. We don't like those other two. Those other two are the reality. That last one's not reality. It's not the process. You guys don't embrace the process. Could you imagine telling Tom Brady shows up to practice after he wins his stuff, and he goes in and goes, you know what, coach? I just don't feel like throwing the ball in practice. Why do I gotta constantly throw the ball? Because that's what you do. That's what makes you good. Doing the routine stuff, the mundane stuff, over and over and over without a guarantee. That's one of the biggest traits you can have by embracing the process. I had an agent, a new agent, come up to me once, her first transaction. The most difficult clients, in her mind, that you could ever have. Tough transaction, really difficult, hard. And here's what she said to me. She goes, all excited. She goes, I'm glad I got the tough one out of the way at the beginning. I'm like, oh, no. Sweet girl, you have no idea. Do you see the mindset? So when Angela says, so do you want to be in real estate? We're getting in for reasons that are fictitious. And you don't know what the process is. Here's the sad part. It's not only do you not embrace the process, some of you have no idea what the process even is. It's crazy when you think about it. And I believe in this society, it's getting harder and harder and harder. No, not because the opportunities aren't there. It's because we live in a culture that brainwashes us. That if you don't see results right away, give up. Here, look at the marketing out there. Oh, you don't feel good? You have a sickness? Here's a pill for it. Oh, I watched this other one. Oh, you want to get in shape and you don't have the time? We've got a machine that takes 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes. They're probably selling a ton of them. How about Pizza Hut? Hey, we can have a pizza delivered in 15 minutes. And here's the kicker. And we have an app to track it. Because if you're really stressed out in that 15 minutes, you know exactly where they're at and when it'll be delivered. That's the society we live in. It's brainwashing us so that when we don't see results right away from what we do, we give up. Oh, that doesn't work. Could you imagine telling a farmer 100 years ago, I love the quote, it's even scripture, you reap what you sow. Could you imagine a farmer 100 years ago planting seeds? She gets the ground all ready. So it's just like you in real estate. We're getting all ready, we're preparing. And then they plant some seeds. Could you imagine a farmer in 3 days going out and going, where's the crops? Where are they? Damn seeds don't work. See, you look at it and go, that's pretty stupid. That's how you guys run your business. That's what you do in your business. You don't embrace the process. If you don't get results right away, you give up and you say, that doesn't work. Or if you don't feel like putting the time and effort and you go, that stuff doesn't work.
That's right. So just to give you an example, when we decided, you know what, call to action works. Somebody told us it works. It makes sense it's going to work. So we flyered 600 to 1,000 flyers a week, every week for 1.5 years. And did it work? Yeah.
In 120 degrees.
We didn't care.
If you guys are broke, or you're struggling, and you said, but Chuck, it's going to be 120. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? That's where you have to come down to. Embrace the process, and you will change the way you do business. And that goes for any business.
So the first thing that we wanted to talk to you is it's just a little bit. There's so much more to say about mindset, but your mindset is super important. But the other thing we want to talk to you today is about it really matters who you surround yourself with. It really, really, really matters. We learned this fairly quickly. So here's my nerdy side. Guess who this is? This is Master Oogway. Master Oogway is an elderly tortoise in the Kung Fu Panda movies.
That speaks, right?
Yeah, and in the movie, he's credited with being the creator of Kung Fu and the developer of the Dragon Warrior legend. I know you guys are like, ooh, way. So he's known for his wisdom, knowledge, experience, and he shared it with all of his pupils, and he helped people. Well, not really. He helped a tiger, a crane, a praying mantis, a viper, a monkey, and a panda, right? So he was a leader who helped people. And here's Mr. Miyagi. So Mr. Miyagi, some of you youngins don't know who he is. He's the lead character of the movie Karate Kid, like the first one, right? And he's an unassuming handyman who, oh, by the way, is like this master of Kung Fu. And he helps the other guy, Daniel, who's getting bullied. He trains him, wax on, wax off, and he defeats Cobra Kai. And he's like this. Here's the thing. When we first started real estate, honestly, we had no Master Oogway. We had no Mr. Miyagi. We did not seek out people who were way better than us to help us to go to a new level. We didn't do it. We had each other, which was a blessing because you should have heard the conversations we had to build each other up. Like, he will admit that he was working harder to impress me. I will admit that I was working harder to impress him. So we had that, but we never sought out like-minded people in the beginning to inspire us, hold us accountable, to lift us up. And here's the other problem. We let this get in the way. Energy-sucking vampires. Energy-sucking vampires. We allowed people.
Painful.
It was.
Wow.
The blood-sucking kind. Do you know there's all websites? There's like whole websites that people actually believe vampires exist. I'm not kidding. Go Google it. It's the nuttiest thing. And I don't know about the blood-sucking, love the night, always young kind of vampires, but energy-sucking vampires exist. And here's what they look like. How do you identify one? They love to gossip. According to them, the market is always bad or hard. When they prospect, if they prospect, no one is ever looking to buy or sell. They will complain about the cross-sale agent. They'll complain about their client, their office. They just complain about everything. They never are to blame. They are not the problem. It's always someone else or something else. Excuses are a part of their everyday life, and sometimes they smile the whole time. So you can't just judge by their face. So we had a client once, his name is Steve, and guess why I call him Steve?
What was his name?
That was his name, yeah. So Steve, we met him and his wife, we helped them buy a house, and he was an energy-sucking vampire. It was terrible. He drained the life out of us. And so we finally sold him the house, we closed it, and we're like, we are never gonna work with that client again, ever. He was horrible. And that's the kind of decision you need to make. So like 3 or 4 years later, guess who calls us? Steve. And I'm like, Steve called, he wants to sell his house. I kind of remember he was hard.
No, that's not how it works. Remember Angela, who remembers everything? At least she says,
I don't remember anything.
She actually said, oh great, Steve called, they want to sell this home. I go, don't you remember those guys sucked? Like sucked the life out of you? No!
Were they really that bad? I don't think they were that bad.
Yeah.
So we listed their house.
And it was
So we listed their house, and it was worse. It was worse. This man actually got in my husband's face like this. You don't do nothing. And
It took every bit of me to having my old self come out. Every bit of me.
you have to not.
I sat there praying,
Seriously.
Jesus, just take this away from me.
Right. It was so bad. So you have to. It's critical. If you think this stuff doesn't matter, it does. And as we matured in our business, we got better at two things. Surrounding ourselves with fantastic people and getting rid of the energy-sucking vampires. Now, I'm not saying that you occasionally let somebody in for a minute, because sometimes somebody needs your help. And you help them through a transaction, or you help them for a season in your life, but you cannot keep them around you. Because you are, as Jim Rohn says, right, the average of right? The 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Guys, that has so much truth. I really can't overemphasize, and I think we as society are really losing sight of that, because we are more connected now than ever before in history, but yet we're the least connected now. So don't mistake connection with relationships. There's a big difference. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not telling you maybe you should surround yourself with good people, or you oughta. If you're not hitting your dreams, it is necessary to hang around the right people. You need to hang around people that are hungry. Not for food, because I'm always hungry, but hungry for success, that are unstoppable, that are dreamers, people that are picking you up, energy. It's necessary to be around those type of people. It's life-changing. And that's what we did. Because I'm going to tell you, when you hang around victims, you become a victim. There's no question about it.
It's like when you in your old life, the more you hung around those people.
You get sucked into the world. You don't even realize it's happening. You know when you realize it's happening? When you're not where you want to be in your life. What you guys need to do is need to be around achievers, about people that are pushing the limits, about people that are going to pick you up. And if you're not achieving your dreams right now, here's the number one question you need to ask. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Here's what I don't want you to do. Don't go home and your spouse. And I was at the seminar, and I think we need a divorce. That's not what I'm saying. Change that. But guys, it's so important to be around like-minded people, because that's not the norm anymore. It's not what's happening out there. It is huge. And you know, one of the things that hits me the most, that I can see it the most, and I'm not saying this to put anybody down, but I get so in a zone now to be positive, energetic, visionary, dreaming, that when I'm around negative people, I physically can't be around them. Something I don't want to be around, I physically can't be around them. It just drains me. I believe in that. I believe in that with all my heart. Or better yet, if you're an agent out there and there's nobody around, you better get around people. This is a tough world. This is a tough business. That's a big deal. So when people say, I don't need to go there, I don't need to get training, I don't need to go in the office, and then you look at your numbers, here's what I'm going to tell you. Yes, you do. That's way more important than you think. It's just being around like-minded people. So guys, to sum up this whole event that James put on, and what we're so blessed to be a part of, dream big. Just keep dreaming and go after it, and understand that it's a hard journey. There's no such thing as making your dreams and making it easy. It's a hard journey. Do you want it bad enough? Go after it. It wasn't easy for us to sit open houses day after day, weekend after weekend with no results, knowing that there's a better thing. It's hard. It's hard door knocking day after day with nothing and no leads and no prospects. But don't give up. That was hard for us. It's hard. We don't sugarcoat nothing. What we achieved, we were one of the top producing agents in the country, from going from broke. We ran one of the top teams in the country. We run one of the top real estate offices in the country. We run one of the top real estate schools in the country. We built one of the most incredible real estate buildings ever seen. And we were working. Guys, dream big.